Welcome back to the Firemind podcast. My name's Ben Wheeler. I'm CTO at Firemind. I've got a new guest with me today, Marissa. Do you want to say hi?
Yes, hello everyone. I'm Marissa Beaty. I'm a data scientist here at Firemind.
Awesome. So yeah, we're really excited to bring the podcast back. It's been a while. We acknowledge we've been gone for a little while. We've got some really exciting stuff happening at Firemind. We're about to go on the next chapter of growth and expansion, and there's some really exciting news coming up, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, we're here today to talk about Arc for AIOps, which is Firemind's AI managed offering and tooling. So first of all, before we talk about what it is, I want to talk about how it came around, Marissa. You were a key part of this. Joined Firemind right at the time where we started thinking about what we could do here. And we always think in working backwards terms at Firemind. And I think when you joined us, you were like, oh, what's this?
Yeah.
Like, working backwards. So we wanted to really understand what was going on in the market. We thought we had a good understanding of it, but we didn't really just want to go, we're going to write down what we think. So do you want to tell us a little bit about the process you took, Marissa, with working backwards, who you spoke to, how you gathered the information, and how we kind of built the foundation of what this was going to become?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an important thing to talk about. So I come primarily from a research background. And so when I joined this project, when I joined Firemind, this is the first thing that I started working on. I approached it really from a research perspective. And so we started with kind of getting a footing in what are the things that people are looking for, what are the things that are missing in the market, doing a lot of research, just trying to find that gap. And once we kind of had an idea of where a gap existed, we then jumped into, talking to people. We really wanted to get a perspective, not only from the outside, but also from the inside. And so we started talking to our AWS partners. We talked to all of our customers and everyone that was kind of involved in this process. And that really gave us kind of a fresh perspective. And we were able to kind of take all of their comments and do a bit more deep dive into the research. And so then we started looking into conference papers and research and what are some like the top institutions developing and all of these types of additional research perspectives. And that really became kind of a feedback loop. And for the first couple of months, we were really looking at the research, writing something, developing something, and then bringing it back to all of these stakeholders, all of these AWS partners, all of these customers, and getting their feedback again and making tweaks and adjusting it. And that's kind of how we began this process many months ago.
Yeah, it's a while ago now. And it's interesting, you keep mentioning AWS. Obviously, there's a lot of relationships there. We've got a lot of senior stakeholders we work with, and they challenged us really hard. It was like, we know there's a problem. There's a challenge with converting to production. Can you help us find out why that is? And that's why we took that approach of really diving deep rather than just looking at ourselves and what we were doing. It's like, take a broader look at the market.
Yeah.
We've been doing it since 2022. We've had Bedrock access since 2023, but we still don't know everything, right? So it was important to go out to the market. And let's talk a little bit before we get into the product and the service, the things we discovered during that research, right? And I think it was quite interesting how broad it was in terms of what were the challenges. Things like, data quality and, inefficient data management, let's say, with, can GenAI do something? Absolutely, but how do you get the data in? Lack of success metrics was another one which was quite interesting. Like, how do you know this is actually going to be a successful project? How do you measure that continually? There's obviously bias and ethical implications we looked at as well. Integration with other systems was quite interesting. During proof of concepts, we found that a lot of customers, again, does an LLM infer over the top of something? Yeah, absolutely. How do you integrate that with my CRM system or with my SharePoint site or whatever it may be? And then the governance that comes along with that. Interestingly, one of our sellers came to us and was like, one of the key problems is really understanding what's the business case, because everybody wants to do GenAI, but do they really understand the business case? And then obviously cost. Everyone's always concerned about the cost, right? And I think one of the challenges that we've seen is that it's constantly evolving. I think there's 62 models available in Bedrock now. Something.
38.
Oh, 38.
62 model changes, though.
Thanks for keeping
In just,
honest.
I think it was like 11 months or something crazy like that.
And 8 or 9 deprecations of models. So even people using models, they're getting deprecated. So you have to be constantly thinking about a cycle. So after all that research, we decided to create a service and an offering, right? Which is AIOps, which is our managed service offering, and Arc, which is the tooling that actually supports our AIOps service, which we'll talk in a little bit more depth. So do you want to talk a little bit about the output? What exactly is AIOps in terms of our customers and what they can benefit from?
Yeah, absolutely. I think as you said, really the main problem that we figured out throughout this process and throughout this research and talking to people was this issue with management and this issue with continually reviewing and making sure that AI solutions work and are efficient. And, you know, if a model deprecates, having some backup in place so that you're not just kind of left stranded. Like those deprecations are within, I think it's a year of like a single year. So with how quick AI is changing, it's really, really important to have some form of management in place. And that's really what AIOps is. It's kind of a safeguard for all of your AI solutions so that however long you need that solution, we'll make sure that it continues to work and continues to be efficient and also kind of evolve as the AI landscape changes.
I think it's really important. And I think a lot of customers were getting stuck in proof of concept cycles.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this on the podcast before, but we were doing a proof of concept. And during that proof of concept, Anthropic released a new model. And one of our data scientists was trying to train a Hugging Face model to solve a problem. And overnight, a new one came out via Bedrock from Anthropic, which actually solved that problem. So we stopped doing the fine tuning of that model. We pick up it's in a box, and we applied that. So customers got caught in this proof of concept cycle where they get so far, something would change, they'd add functionality, and they're just stuck. So I think it's about getting them to production quickly, effectively, but then treating that as a living and breathing thing. This is not we've got it into production, we don't have to worry about it anymore. There's a very much a feed and water approach that we need to take to these, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually, it's kind of narratives like this, and this is where the research really comes in, of we took such a deep dive into the problems that the industry has, and not just beyond our customers, and use that to kind of develop the types of offering that we've included in AIOps. So one of the features, for example, is the ability to test out new models and see if it makes a difference with your solution, and see, you know, will I save costs? Will I increase accuracy? All of these kind of variables goes into that, so that we can make sure that if a new model comes out, we can automatically test it and say, hey, this is actually going to decrease your costs by this percentage. Or we can say, actually, it's probably not worth it. You're probably better off staying with where you're at. Which is a really, really cool and unique feature of this product.
Yeah, and that's what I love about it, is there's the two parts to AIOps. There's we're going to keep the lights on. We're going to make sure that the model is giving you results that meet a baseline, accuracy. We'll monitor latency. All these things that are kind of, I would consider like a BAU, will react to those. But it's the proactive piece that I really, really like, which is we will, like you said, a new model may come out. We don't want our customer to have to worry about that. We'll go and test. Does that model do something slightly different? Is it more cost effective? Can we save a lot of execution time? So there's a better, maybe a web-based solution for 1 million customers, and all of a sudden their wait time reduces by 50%. We can test all these things proactively, and then we can go to our customer and say, hey, we've discovered this, without them even having to think about it. So I think that's what's really compelling, is the two sides of that coin.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ben. I think that this proactive piece is really important, but equally as important is a reactive piece. And I think these features really go hand in hand, and it's important when having a good managed service to think about both of them, to think not only about how can we proactively prepare for the future and the changing landscape that happens, but also how can we reactively make sure that our AI solution continues working as well as it did when we deployed it. And that is kind of where this idea of success metrics comes into play. And why we developed what I think is one of the most interesting features of AIOps, which is this ability to continuously measure our AI solution based on success metrics. And one thing that we noticed when we were developing this is how variable success metrics are to a specific use case. And what's really important for one business is less important for another. So when we were developing this, we really wanted to think about how can we create for that type of flexibility. And so what we did is we developed this evaluation tool that lets us evaluate a model and then set thresholds that can be completely customized to what that use case is. So for example, if accuracy is really important to a customer, we have the ability to set accuracy at a really high threshold, let's say 90%. And anytime that the output dips below 90%, we will get a ticket within Firemind's ticketing system, and our team of experts can immediately go in and take a look and see what could have happened in that situation to try and resolve it. Maybe new data was added and that caused the error, or maybe the model was just updated. And they can use that information and determine, all right, maybe we just need to clean the data, or maybe we actually need to start testing new models and figuring out if a better model is going to reproduce the same results we had as deployment. So this reactive piece is, I think, really important to making sure that our models continue working long term.
Yeah, that's cool. And I want to talk a little bit about ARC as well, right? Because the output of the research was managed service management, AIOps. But then we were like, how can we effectively do this in Firemind? And you conceptualized ARC as a software that we would use internally. Let's talk a little bit about that and that journey and how that software has come about and some of the cool features that are there and that we're adding to continuously, right? Because the beauty of this fast-paced environment that we're in with AI, ML, generative AI is that there's constantly new things coming out. We're discovering new things. Customers are asking for new things. So that's a constantly evolving thing. Tell us a little bit about ARC as a tool.
Yeah, absolutely. I think ARC came about very naturally as we started doing research into this. So just to clarify, ARC is a tool, and it's really a product that supports our AIOps managed service. And it was a really natural progression into developing this product, primarily because we realized that we had a lot of things that we wanted to address, a lot of features that we wanted to address that include things like managing workloads, testing new models, alerting metrics. And, we can say that we want to do all those things, but we kind of need to back it up with something. And at the moment, nothing really exists in the industry that allows us to do all of the features that we want to do in kind of a singular place. And, we kind of looked at each other and we're like, I guess we're building something. I guess we're developing that product. Yeah. With that in mind, we then started looking at the market and looking at things that were happening in the industry and really pinpointing what are the gaps and what are the struggles people are having when moving into production and developing ARC to directly identify and resolve those issues. So some of the things that we developed, as we've kind of already talked about, is the ability to manage workloads. So we've developed a system to collate the data from all of your AI solutions that you have running in your business and provide a singular view for you to look at those simultaneously. We've already kind of talked about having success metrics and being able to evaluate your success metrics continuously and set thresholds and alert on those thresholds. And then another thing that we've talked about already is evaluating new models and testing new models and having this ability to compare and contrast new models with what's currently deployed so that you can really go in and take a look at when it might be beneficial to update. And when it might be beneficial to stay with the thing that you currently have in production. And that kind of goes in conjunction with this additional feature that we've noticed, which is prompt engineering. And, not everyone in the market is fine-tuning models. In fact, a lot of them are using prompt engineering techniques for their solutions. And so we've also developed this ability within ARC to have prompt refinement and summarization techniques and to really ease that process as well. But really at its core, ARC is a data platform, and it allows data scientists and data engineers to really understand how a solution is working and how we can make it better.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. And the one thing I've really loved to be at Firemind for over a year now is seeing that evolution into being a product company.
Yeah.
We've got Pulse, we've got a data maturity assessment tool, we've got Arc now. And when we create software, we create pretty good software. And what's really interesting is that while Arc was conceptualized to support the AIOps service, is what we're seeing is customers, AWS, ISVs and software providers that we talk to about the product that we've created. They're like, this is so cool. Can we buy this? So what we're actually doing now is we're taking Arc on an evolution into how productizing this and getting it out to the marketplace. So really exciting. Watch this space. That's coming. So
Yeah.
not only will it be augmenting our services, but we'll be able to get that out to our customers who may not need the full managed service, but want to benefit from the software. So
Yes.
that's really cool. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're really giving an option to people, and we're providing this resource to different types of companies. So, let's say you don't really have a team of data scientists, but an AI solution is going to transform your business. In that circumstance, we can be the experts for you. We can be the data scientists. We can be the data engineers, and we can look at your solution and we can provide the recommendations, and we can ensure that it continues working and provide optimization techniques. But maybe you are a larger company that has that team in place, but doesn't have the time or maybe the resources to build your own product that does all of these things. And in that case, we can provide Arc to you, and you can have the product and you can just go full steam ahead. And I think this option is exactly what the market needs right now.
yeah. And we've got an approach as well to developing, and that's not a point in time product the same as AI workload shouldn't be, right? So,
Yeah.
And again, I unapologetically ex AWS, and we have this whole concept of you build things based on customer demand at AWS. So, and we're thinking about that now. So there's a roadmap for Arc, and that roadmap is driven from our customers, which are our managed services teams, but also the folks like that we're speaking to in these other companies in AWS who are saying this would be a really cool feature.
Yeah.
And we build our product roadmap based on those things. So I don't want to give away too much because there's a lot of exciting stuff coming, but it's very exciting how that's kind of matured. All right, cool. So I think let's draw it to a close for this episode, Marissa. We've got a lot of collateral online. We've got a great website. You can go and learn more about Arc. You can go and learn more about AIOps. You can read customer testimonials. You can see what we're doing with this, and then reach out to us, like folks watching this now. Let's have a chat. How can we help your customer? How can we help you if you are a customer? We'd love to talk to you about what we're doing and how we can help.